Conversations from TA Tech. That's next on the RecTech podcast.
Welcome to RecTech, the podcast where recruiting and technology intersect. Each month, you'll hear from vendors shaping the recruiting world, along with recruiters who'll tell you how they use technology to hire talent. Now, here's your host, the mad scientist of online recruiting, Chris Russell.
Hey everyone, it's Chris Russell. I am coming to you today by myself because I have some audio for you from the recent TA Tech Europe event held in Dublin, Ireland from last week. So in this audio, you can hear from three different vendors. You're going to hear Gal Amog from Talenya, which is doing some interesting things on the automated sourcing side. You'll hear from Shane Gray at Clinch, which has an interesting recruiting marketing tool. And finally from Peter White of JobBoard.io / ZipRecruiter. JobBoard.io is a job board software company that was recently acquired by ZipRecruiter. So we'll hear from the three of them in three different interviews. Hope you enjoyed the audio. And this podcast is sponsored by anyone. So RecTechLive.com. RecTech Live is my new training course for recruiters, training show, if you will. Happens most Thursdays, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you go to RecTechLive.com, I'll teach you lots of different things about recruiting marketing. Enjoy the audio. All right, I am here with Gal Amog from Talenya, the CEO and founder. Gal, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
So explain for the listeners, what is Talenya?
Talenya is disrupting the headhunting industry, which is a $200 billion industry, investing about 1 cent in technology for every dollar they spend on labor. So it's a very much labor-intensive industry, and we are on a mission to improve it, change it, disrupt it. Basically, you can call us the Uber of recruitment.
Uber of recruitment.
Yes.
Okay.
So we have two elements to our solution. One is technology. We're able, through technology, to find fingerprints of talent on many, many places on the internet, collect that information, build rich profiles, match them automatically to job, grade them and rank them, and also predict the likelihood to be interested in moving to their next job. So it's not only about finding the right talent, it's also about
predictability,
reaching them at the right timing. So we can basically reach anyone with a fingerprint on the internet and reach them at the right timing. And then the one thing that was left to do is to reach them, qualify them, and present to them new opportunities. And for that, we felt that the traditional headhunting model was not working well because people did not bring domain expertise. They were professional recruiters, but not a domain expert.
Right.
So we're taking people with domain expertise. That could be ex-VP sales, ex-R&D director, CFOs who want to change their career, have flexible work hours, work-life balance. We train them to be recruiters. We put them on our platform. They don't need to look for clients, and they don't need to look for candidates. We bring both. They just need to get on the phone, communicate with these candidates, and then present the opportunity, and then we share with them the placement fees.
Okay, so there's a human element to this service or this technology as well?
Absolutely. So after 20 years in recruitment technology, I came to the conclusion that you can automate a lot of the stuff, but not 100%.
Right.
So people, especially passive job seeker, people who are not looking for a job, would like to speak with another person, especially a person who knows, what they may be looking for, who can mediate between them and the opportunity, and that's what makes that happen. That's not going to change, in my opinion, in the foreseeable future. So we're not going to have autonomous cars in recruitment.
Right. So explain the user experience a little bit. An employer comes to you, they sign up, and then what happens from there?
Okay, so it's a collaborative platform, both for the recruiter, the employer, and the candidate. So the employer has the benefit of working with one company that brings experience in many, many domains. They can have sales job, technology jobs, and they are able to deal with only one vendor. We take the employer into our system and we go deep into an understanding of what they're looking for. Okay. And it's a total different user experience for the employer. It's just like the first time you took an Uber taxi,
yep.
It's the same with us. So it's not just about automating the process, it's automating and improving the experience. For example, we know that companies may not know 100% what they're looking for. It's only until they see a couple of resumes that they start to realize what kind of candidate they're looking for. So we have a process where we give them a couple of resumes to give us feedback on, and we use that feedback to further improve the algorithm that I use for search based on their specific preferences. So when we go after candidates, we go after the right candidates that are likely to want and not candidates that are unlikely to want.
Okay. So it basically services these resumes for the recruiters to review. What kind of volume are we talking about? Are we talking about thousands of resumes? I mean,
we talk about millions and millions. So first of all, it's not that we create a database that can be searched for any job. We specifically go and fetch information for every job based on our understanding. And then we're very, very sophisticated search that looks for that talent with a specific weight for different skills. Some are important, some are required, and so forth and so on. And our artificial intelligence and machine learning can learn that and bring candidates based on preferences and requirements and this and that. And in less than 14 days, we're committed to deliver 3 to 5 ideal, qualified, and interested candidates presented to an employer, out of which they're going to hire one.
Okay. So what's the, how long has it been out now?
A year and a half.
A year and a half, okay. So tell me a success story. Tell me about one of your clients who's using this to basically, reduce their need for actual recruiters and stuff.
Okay, so maybe the best story I have, I would title it a CEO with $1 million and no staff.
Okay.
So we were approached by an entrepreneur who got funding with very little technology, but a good idea, and he had no staff. So we had to recruit for him his entire staff.
Okay.
We started with the VP of R&D and then hired his entire staff. So the whole company is now based on our understanding of their needs, on understanding of the technology and the type of people they would need to be successful. And for startup companies, it's critical, when there are 30 people, that would make or break the future of the company if they didn't hire the right people or they do not mesh. And we do it for small companies and for large companies, and most of our clients start with one job and come back for more and more jobs. So we have over 100 clients right now.
100 clients. And you're based in Israel. Do you have a presence in the U.S. yet?
We do. We have an office in Hoboken, New Jersey, just across the river.
Okay.
And we have full staff there. We have over 100 recruiters. We call them talent experts. And we have a waiting list of about 200 talent experts who are interested in becoming recruiters and work for us.
Now, are these young people you're training to be recruiters, or they have experience already in the industry?
Most of them are not young at all. They could be over 50 and sometimes over 60. They want to change their career. They hate the 2-hour commute every day. There could be working mothers who want to stay at home with kids. They bring domain expertise. They've never been recruiters. They could be recruiters. They could be. But most of our talent experts are people who want to make a change in their career. And it's easier to train them to be a recruiter than to train them how to evaluate programmers.
Interesting. Very cool. I like that you're mixing, actual humans in the process here and not just building something that's, this AI piece of machinery that's going to take away jobs, but you're really helping to augment the recruiting process.
Exactly.
And use the recruiters as well.
Because that's the way it is, with hiring people, with all the AI. It still, boils down to humans versus humans.
Exactly. People still hire people, right?
Right, exactly.
Awesome. So you've been in the recruiting space for a long time. You started Real Match back, I think, about 10 years ago, right?
Yes. But I've been 20 years in the recruiting.
20 years in recruiting industry, okay. What have you learned about recruiting in this whole time frame here? What strikes you about the hiring process that's interesting?
I think it's still broken to a large extent. That's why they attract so many people to come in with new technology. I've been a little humbled over the years with the ability of technology to make major changes. I think finally, and maybe hopefully, we're starting to see some significant changes because there's so much bias that it's causing sometimes more harm.
Age discrimination, race discrimination, all.
Not just that, but lack of professionalism. I heard a recruiter from a company, an internal recruiter, telling us, the resume you've submitted has a lot of keywords that I don't understand, but it looks like a heck of a person to hire.
Right.
Okay. So there's a gap between recruitment departments and hiring managers, and people go on the safe side. They would rather not hire based on potential and not look like idiots.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate. So I think AI and machine learning, it can overcome a lot of that bias. Still, at the end of the day, we need to augment humans to do a better job and eliminate or minimize the other type of jobs that can be done by machines.
Yeah, interesting. Just a couple more questions for you, Gal. There's lots of HR technology today. In fact, there's probably never been more HR tech than there is right now as we speak. How do you break through that noise as far as selling into HR right now? Because I'm sure it's a challenge for your sales team. Talk about that a bit if you could in terms of the challenges you face there.
All right. So great question. And I come from Real Match, where we targeted active job seekers through, very, very sophisticated advertising across many job boards. With Talenya, we're selling a service that everyone is already buying. It's recruitment services. It hasn't changed. We're not offering something different. We do it based on success, which is less risky, but we do it much better. We do it at a higher quality, and we do it, less than 14 days, which usually takes 2-3 months.
Right.
Okay. So we don't have a problem in that sense. We are probably at the best time in history to be in that business because everyone is desperate to hire great talent.
Yep.
And we have a couple of things that work in our benefit. First of all, we have data, so we can very quickly present candidates and get the attention of the hiring manager. Also, because we're all based on data, we can remove the blindness from the recruiting process. I'll give you an example. If you're hiring, data scientists in Boston, you start your search without knowing how many data scientists are in Boston, how many qualify exactly to your requirements, how many are looking for a job, how many may be looking for a job, who's competing against you, and things like that. So you start your search with no information or some wrong assumptions, and in 3-4 months you cannot hire because you don't know that Amazon is offering double your salary and it has 120 job opening for data scientists in Boston. Okay, right. You need strategies, you need data, and when you use that data to create your search, and you have an expert who can open a dialogue with you and tell you what you need to do in order to achieve your goals, and then he's helping you, it changes the user experience, and there's a lot more to that. And there's a strong human element to that, but it's based on real data that we collect and analyze.
Gotcha. And explain the cost of the product. Is it a pay-per-hire? Is it a monthly subscription?
No, it's based on a successful hire. We usually charge anywhere between 15 to 20%, average 18% on the annual salary.
Very good. And it's TALENYA.com?
Yes, Talenya.
Talenya. Okay, Gal, thanks very much.
Thank
Good
you.
luck with the product.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm here with Shane Gray at TA Tech Europe from Clinch. Just going to get a quick update from him and what's going on with the platform. How you doing, Shane?
I'm good, Chris. Welcome to my hometown.
Yeah, it's great to finally get out here. You've been coming to the US so much. It's good to finally see you on your home turf.
Yeah, no, it's good to have you guys here as well. Good fun.
Nice.
So yeah, we've been pushing on with Clinch. For those of you who may not know what Clinch does, we're a recruitment marketing platform. We focus on the top of the funnel in recruitment. A key area for focus for us now is the career site. So really giving employers a career site that turns into more of a conversion machine. So it's able to attract and get more candidates to convert into applicants within the ATS environment. And the nice thing about what we're doing is we're bringing in more machine learning and automation is we're starting to deliver a platform that runs itself. It's able to pull in third-party content from corporate blogs, present the right content or the right jobs to the right people, even if they may not have landed on the right job page the first time, keep them engaged, convert them, and get them further down the funnel. So that's our area of focus, is pushing more and more around automation.
Yeah, you kind of refer to it as an automated career site, right?
Yeah, an automated, intelligent career site would be very much the way we think about it. And really the concept is that we'll come in, we will take the existing corporate look and feel or the existing the existing career site. We'll represent that from Clinch, from the client's domain. And
using whatever ATS they have, right?
Yeah, exactly. We'll integrate to the ATS. We've got multiple integrations. You can even run multiple integrations to ATSs through one account. So for some of our larger customers who have smaller sub-offices and sub-countries, they may use Workday in a global level, but in some of the regional offices they're using, let's say, iSIMS as an example. Yeah. So we can deal with that sort of complexity and really then put in some automation and some workflow and some content ingestion and some job distribution that really just starts to spin up an attraction and conversion machine.
Gotcha. So you've been at this for what, a couple of years now? When I think I interviewed you maybe a year and a half ago, probably on
2 years.
It's one of the first RecTech episodes. What have you learned since then, as far as the recruiting process goes, and the hiring process, and just working with all these companies? What stands out to you?
We've learned a lot about what we now call the candidate decision journey. So we now understand a lot better, based on aggregated data, that we now understand how candidates go looking for jobs. And I think that's something that we know, that we're seeing, and what it basically is most candidates start their search for a new opportunity in something like Google or a search engine. They waterfall into Google for jobs now that's available. They may end up in Indeed or on Glassdoor, and they end up on a job. And sadly, that visit is rarely tracked because it's not sitting on a corporate domain. It's typically sitting on an applicant tracking systems domain, and the applicant tracking systems naturally focus on the people who turn into applicants, and they don't look at the other people. The interesting thing about the candidate decision journey is a lot of the people who don't apply for a job on their very first visit are actually the people we all really want to hire. They're the ones that are in a good job, are looking around, and are making sure the company passes a kind of a smell test, for want of a better word, as to whether they'd like to proceed with them. So we're really focusing on helping the candidate be exposed to the additional data points they need about the company. And again, if you think about a job description, it tells the candidate everything about what the company wants them to do for the company, but very little about why they should go and work for that organization. Right. What is the culture? What are the values? How's the company performance? So again, filling in those information gaps is really helping speed up that candidate decision journey. It's helping organizations keep their company as one of the 4 or 5 that are shortlisted in the candidate's mind as they're moving through that process well before they ever hit the apply button.
Yeah. Your job postings on the platform are one of the more, I think, progressive, better designed job postings. Just kind of briefly describe that, if you would. I think you have some unique stuff there.
Yeah, well, what we've been able to do is we integrate with the ATS, so we ingest the standard text job description, and then we've given clients the ability to tell the story of the company on that page. So it could be imagery, it could be videos, it could be team member quotes or biographies. People stories, by the way, are one of the best pieces of content. We run a lot of content analytics, so we understand that that's what people are interested in. They want to know who they're going to be working with. They want to potentially use the profile of that person, be it their LinkedIn profile, to match against their own experiences and skills, and potentially use that to help them self-select or in or out of the process. The other things that we're seeing that they're interested in is the company performance. So one of the things that our new innovations is we now have a blogging engine built inside Clinch. So the employer branding team have access to a blogging engine to create employer branding content. Oh, yeah? But we also are able to ingest the corporate feed via an RSS and automatically repurpose all that content for recruitment. So a good example would be, you come in, you look at some of the employer branding content, you're looking at a sales job, a blog post goes live in a couple of weeks by a sales guy perchance. We know that you haven't seen this, so we're starting to look at how we can now automatically warm you up for that new sales job by just sending you that content. But lo and behold, when you hit the content page, the job you're being pipelined for there is there for you to view and visit if you want to.
Gotcha. What's your favorite feature of Clinch?
I think the automation around being able to nurture people to finish job applications if they've started one and they might be a fit and we think we could get them over the line is important, and more of that automation around running that pipeline in terms of being able to say, hey, the pipeline is full of people who've completed the job, but they're not the right ones. Here's the people who've looked at the job. How do we get them further down the funnel? Here's the people who haven't even seen the job, but we know because of prior behavior that they've looked at similar jobs. How do we alert them to the fact that there's a new opportunity with this company? And basically get that brand back front of mind for that candidate as they're moving through this decision journey.
Yeah. And talk about the conversion rates a bit in terms of getting people to apply. Because you said that your platform does better than the average ATS. So talk about that.
Yeah, well, we look at an average, and an average, of course, can be misleading because it's everything from hourly jobs to high tech roles. But a broad average in the space is about 8.5% conversion rate. So if you get 1,000 visitors to your career site or to your job, you will get 85 applications will end up in the ATS, and they may or may not complete. We're seeing, even for tech companies, we're seeing that number rise to 150, 200, 250. And in the hourly retail space, we see it go as high as 400 or 500. So huge increase. Yeah. And interestingly, I know volume is not always a problem for people, but the uptick generally contains a higher proportion of better informed, higher quality candidates because they're the ones that have taken the time to get to know the company.
Excellent. Shane, thanks very much. Good luck.
Thanks again, Chris. See you next time.
Okay, I'm here at TA Tech Europe in Dublin, here with Peter White from JobBoard.io. Got to meet for the first time in many years. Peter, how's the show going for you so far?
Yeah, enjoying it so far, and it's good to finally meet.
Definitely. So ZipRecruiter's got a nice little table here in the deal center. We'll just talk with Peter for a few minutes about the platform itself and get his thoughts. How did you end up hooking up with Christian in the first place? How did you get the job?
Sure. I was looking around in the job board space. I'd been building a job board myself for a while, and I signed up for a free trial. Fast forward about a year, and I continued to receive sign-up spam. And I just reached out to Christian and started talking. I got to know more about the product, got excited about it, and then we ended up working together for about the past 4 years. So it's been a great journey.
Gotcha. Do you have a developer background?
Both. Development background and a business development background. So a bit of a combination.
Gotcha. Okay. At this point, who's running the company? You, Christian, anybody else?
Christian's kind of in a product owner type role, running day-to-day at JobBoard.io, but we're really rapidly growing a team, and we're leaning into ZipRecruiter more and more, getting a lot of development support and business support, which is going to enable us to keep growing the JobBoard.io platform, keep adding to the brush of new features we've released recently.
Right. And it's been how long now since Zip acquired you guys?
About 6 months, 7 months.
6 months, okay. So far, so good?
Awesome.
Okay. So you just released some latest features. Can you just briefly talk us through those?
Yeah, sure. So we always love getting feedback from customers. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking we desperately need this new feature in JobBoard.io, do reach out on that support channel because your feedback informs what we build next. We just released this new update for filtering jobs. So in your admin panel, you can now filter by expiration, posting date, source of the job, and employee profiles as well. So it's a really, really great way of seeing data that needs your action at a glance. So pull in all your expired jobs, look through them. Is there a sales opportunity? See all your jobs that are awaiting approval, if you've got approval enabled on your job board, which enables you to just be more responsive to employers. So it's one of our biggest requested features, and this is just our first version. We've got a new version coming out pretty soon, which is going to add even more features to the filtering function. So it's really exciting.
Cool. The one thing I haven't used yet on the platform is the Zip emailer integration. Could you tell me how that works?
Sure. So the Zip Alerts program is where ZipRecruiter pays you to sign up emails on a list. I've got a catch here from ZipRecruiter actually. Do you want to give us a snippet on what Zip Alerts is?
Yeah, effectively, it's a white label email alert solution. So we will power partners' job alert solutions for them on a white label basis, brand it with their obviously logo and branding. We'll populate it with a combination of their own job content and aggregated content, and then we will pay them on a 50-50 revenue share for every click that they can send back to us.
Typically, what's the average payout on that? Is it about the same as the actual backfill?
Yeah, it's exactly the same as the backfill. It's the backfill content that effectively goes into the job alerts, and then we'll pay the same revenue share on that.
Okay. But you have to sign up for it separately, right?
Yeah. So it's integrated within jobboard.io. If you reach out to us at support, we'll introduce you to one of the ZipRecruiter representatives who can set that up for you. But it's now built into jobboard.io. So where your existing native jobboard.io alerts would have been displayed on your website, you now have the option to sign people up for Zip alerts instead on there. So it's a really great new revenue opportunity for jobboard.io publishers.
Gotcha. What are like the top 3 questions you always get from new owners of the platform?
Traffic. It's a constant problem. It's that chicken and egg thing. Do I focus on employers first? Do I focus on candidates first? Obviously, you've written a lot about that.
Yeah, you guys tell them to go to Job Board Secrets.
That's the one. That's the most common question that we get, and there's no straight answer to it. It depends upon your niche. It depends upon what existing relationships that you have and that you can leverage. So I always advise customers, just introspect, see what resources you have already, build upon that, make sure that your employers and candidates are having a great experience, and then everything else will follow.
All right, Peter, thanks for your time.
All right, that's going to do for this edition of the RecTech podcast. So I want to make sure I thank my other sponsor, HireTool. If you are if you have a great sourcing tool, give HireTool a try. It's very affordable. They have a personal sourcing assistant. They'll do the sourcing for you while you're sleeping or having a cup of coffee even. You can build Boolean strings on the fly. It displays contact info for the candidates that you find. Here's what Cindy Summer says on Facebook about HireTool. HireTool is 10 times more accurate in finding candidates' email addresses and contact info on any social media site than any other tool. You can reach more candidates bottom line, she says. So check them out at hiretool.com. That's HireTual. And I'll see you on the next RecTech podcast.
Another episode of RecTech is in the books. Follow Chris on Twitter at Chris Russell or visit rectechmedia.com, where you can find the audio and links for this show on our blog. RecTech Media helps both HR tech firms and employers to get more clients or candidates through our consulting practice and online tools. So be sure to check out our sites like recruiting headlines, job fairing, and more to stay up to date on what's happening in recruiting. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon on the next episode of RecTech, the Recruiting Technology Podcast.